Welcome to Lento English. Ready to level up your English? Here we learn through stories, slow, clear, and fun. Listen, relax, and enjoy the journey.
1. Introduction. News came today about the death of Dick Cheney. He was the former Vice President of the United States. He passed away at the age of 84. His family confirmed this news in a statement. They said he died last night. The cause of death was complications from pneumonia. He was 84 years old. Mr. Cheney's death is important around the world. Many people expect reactions from different countries and leaders. His work had a big impact on global events. His influence on world matters cannot be easily underestimated. He was a central figure in many international decisions and discussions. This news has a global significance that will be felt immediately. He served as the 46th Vice President of America. He worked with President George W. Bush. This was from 2001 to 2009. During these 8 years, he was a very significant person in U.S. politics. His time as vice president was especially important for both America and the world. He was known for his strong leadership and his deep understanding of government. His career was long and often caused strong opinions. He was a main planner of the War on Terror after the attacks of September 11th. He strongly supported the invasion of Iraq. This made him a very controversial figure in world politics. He was a supporter of the claim that Iraq had weapons of mass destruction. These claims were later found to be untrue. This caused much debate and criticism around the globe. Many people in the Republican Party in the U.S. supported him throughout his time in office. They saw him as a strong and effective leader who always stood firm in his beliefs. However, others around the world criticized him for his policies and actions. He was known for his powerful influence in the White House, often working behind the scenes. He held many important positions during his decades in politics, rising through the ranks. His life was remarkable and, at times, very divisive. He was an influential man who shaped events at the start of the 21st century. His long career made him a well-known figure, both in America and across the globe. He was a true force in political discussions for many years, leaving a lasting mark on history. 2. His early career. Dick Cheney began his long career in politics early. He started by working for a Republican congressman in Washington, D.C. This was his first step into the world of national government. He learned how the government worked and how laws were made. He saw how politicians made decisions for the country. This early work showed him the way forward in public service. He was part of the Republican Party from the very beginning of his journey. After this, Cheney worked for President Gerald Ford. This was a very important time for him to grow in his political career. He served in the White House, the home of the president. He held different important roles there, gaining valuable experience. Working closely with a president gave him a deep understanding of national issues. He saw how big decisions were made at the highest level of government. This period helped him understand national politics deeply and prepared him for future roles. Later, Dick Cheney went back to his home state of Wyoming. The people of Wyoming elected him to be their representative in Congress. He served as a congressman for 10 years, from 1979 to 1989. During this time, he worked in the House of Representatives, one part of the U.S. Congress. He spoke for the citizens of Wyoming and helped to create new laws. Being a congressman for a full decade gave him a strong voice in national matters and showed his ability to lead. His career took a big step forward when President George H.W. Bush chose him for a new role. President Bush made Cheney the Secretary of Defense. This was a very important job, putting him in charge of the country's military forces. He was responsible for the Army, Navy, Air Force, and Marines, guiding their operations. This role brought him to national and even international attention as a key government official. He became a well-known figure across the United States due to his influence. As Defense Secretary, Cheney faced a major global event called the First Gulf War. In 1990, Iraq, led by its leader Saddam Hussein, invaded the small country of Kuwait. This act caused a big international crisis, as many countries worried about peace. Cheney played a key role in the United States' response to this invasion. He helped plan the military actions and worked closely with military leaders to send American troops to the region. The war successfully pushed Iraq out of Kuwait, restoring its independence. This event showed his leadership in a time of war and his ability to manage large military operations. 3. The Vice President. After his time as Defense Secretary, Dick Cheney took on a new and very important role. In 2000, George W. Bush was running to become president. He needed a good person to be his vice president. George W. Bush asked Dick Cheney to lead a special group. This group's job was to find the best person for the vice president job. Cheney looked at many people and thought carefully about who would be a good partner for the president. But in the end, Dick Cheney decided to take the job himself. He became the vice president for George W. Bush. He served as the 46th vice president of the United States. His time in this role was from 2001 to 2009. These 8 years were a very important period for America and for the world. During this time, Dick Cheney was a very powerful person in the White House. Many people believed he had a lot of influence on the president's decisions. He was not just a helper, he was a leader with strong ideas and a clear vision for the country's future. His vice presidency began in 2001. This period saw many big events happen in the world, both at home and abroad. Dick Cheney was always at the center of these events, working hard behind the scenes to address challenges. He helped shape America's actions on the global stage. He worked closely with President Bush every day, often in private meetings. Together, they made many important choices for the country. He became known for his strong opinions and his ability to get things done quickly and effectively, even on complex issues. He was a very central figure in the government, and his office was often seen as a place of great power. Many people in the Republican Party supported him strongly, valuing his experience and strategic thinking. They saw him as a skilled and experienced leader who knew how to handle difficult situations and guide policy. He understood how politics worked in Washington, D.C. better than most. He used his knowledge to help the president and his party achieve their goals. His influence was clear in many government policies and plans that shaped the nation. He was a key figure in the early 2000s, helping to guide the country through challenging times and make tough decisions. His role made him one of the most powerful vice presidents in American history. He left a lasting mark on the country's direction and its place in the world. His time in office was a defining part of his long and important political career, making him a man of true significance in the early part of this new century. 4. The War on Terror. After the terrible attacks on September 11, 2001, the United States faced a new and difficult challenge. Dick Cheney became a very important person in the government's response to these events. He was a main architect of what was called the War on Terror. This was a new global effort to fight against groups that used terror and to prevent future attacks. Cheney strongly believed that Iraq posed a big threat to the United States. He gave his full support for the invasion of Iraq. This was a very important decision for the country and for the world. One main reason given for going into Iraq was the search for weapons of mass destruction, often called WMDs. These were said to be dangerous weapons that Iraq might have. Cheney supported the claim that Iraq had these weapons and needed to be stopped quickly. However, after the invasion, no such weapons were found. This discovery led to much discussion and made many people question the reasons for the war. The absence of WMDs became a big point of controversy for Cheney and the administration. Despite this, he continued to defend the decision to invade Iraq, believing it was necessary for national security. During this period, the government also used new ways to question people captured during the War on Terror. These were called interrogation techniques. Some of these methods were very controversial and caused strong debate. Dick Cheney defended some of these techniques, including waterboarding. He believed they were needed to get important information from prisoners and to keep the country safe from more attacks. His strong views and actions made him a very powerful figure in the White House. Many people in America, especially members of the Republican Party, supported his decisions and his firm stance against terror. However, in other parts of the world, and for many people, his role in the War on Terror made him a very divisive figure. People had strong opinions, both good and bad, about his actions and their impact on global events. 5. A man of many opinions. Dick Cheney became a person who caused many strong opinions around the world. People often felt very differently about him. In the United States, especially among members of the Republican Party, he had a lot of support. Many Republicans saw him as a strong and important leader. They respected his long career and his firm beliefs. He was a well-known and influential figure within the party for many years. His political work stretched over several decades, and he gained much trust from his political allies. He was a key part of the Republican movement for a long time. However, outside of America, and for some people inside the country, Cheney received much criticism. His decisions, especially during his 8 years as vice president, led to strong disagreement. He became known as a very divisive person in world politics. People in different countries had many different views on his actions and his power. Some saw him as a dangerous figure, while others saw him as a necessary one for national security. This split in opinion made him a central figure in global discussions. A major reason for this division was the war in Iraq. Cheney strongly believed that Iraq had weapons of mass destruction, known as WMDs. He spoke often about this danger. These claims were a main reason why the United States and its allies decided to invade Iraq. But later, after the invasion, it became clear that these claims were not true. No WMDs were found in Iraq. This discovery caused a huge controversy. It made many people question the reasons for the war and Cheney's strong role in promoting it. This lack of WMDs led to more criticism from many parts of the world. It damaged trust for some. Despite the strong disagreements and criticisms, Cheney was also known for his great political skill. Many people, even his opponents, recognized his ability to work in government. He was seen as a powerful and effective person who understood politics very well. He held important jobs throughout his career, like chief of staff for a president. These roles showed his talent in managing complex situations. He was a man of true influence and importance, especially during the first 10 years of the 21st century. His long and active career showed his deep knowledge of how government and power worked. He was a central figure in many important American and world events. His actions left a lasting mark on history, making him a person who created many strong opinions, both positive and negative, depending on who was discussing him. He was a truly significant leader whose legacy was often debated. 6. Life after office. After his time as vice president ended in 2009, Dick Cheney's life changed. He was no longer in the center of power in Washington, D.C. He left the White House after 8 years of important work. Many people wondered what he would do next after such a busy and influential period. His role in government had been very important, and now he was stepping away from that daily work. During these years, Mr. Cheney faced many health challenges. He had a history of heart problems, and these continued to be a concern after he left office. His health became a main focus for him and his family. He needed special medical care and attention to manage his ongoing conditions. These health issues were a big part of his life during this period. In 2012, Mr. Cheney had a very big operation. He received a heart transplant. This was a major event in his life and a difficult medical procedure. The new heart gave him a chance for more years. It was a challenging time for him and his loved ones, but he recovered well from the surgery. This event showed his strength and will to live. After the transplant, Mr. Cheney lived a much quieter life. He was not often seen in public. He spent more time at home, away from the busy world of politics. He did not give many speeches or interviews. This was a time for rest and recovery, far from the public eye. He focused on his well-being and his personal life, stepping back from the intense political spotlight he had been under for decades. He was still a respected figure by many, but his days of making daily decisions for the country were over. For some years, he stayed away from the main political conversations and debates. He watched the news and kept up with national events, but he did not often join the public discussions. This was a very different kind of life for a man who had been so powerful and central to American policy. His time away from the center of power allowed him to focus on his health and family. He was no longer part of the government. He was a private citizen, though a very famous one. People knew he was still a strong voice with clear opinions, but for a while that voice was mostly quiet. He was living his life after many years in the office. He had moved from the busy White House to a more peaceful existence, dealing with his health and enjoying his time away from the constant demands of public service. This period of calm would eventually change as he found new reasons to speak out. 7. A critic of President Trump. Dick Cheney was a Republican his entire life. He spent many decades working for Republican leaders and presidents. He was a well-known and respected person within the Republican Party. Because of his long history, it was a big surprise when he became a strong critic of President Donald Trump. Most other senior Republicans chose to support President Trump. They often followed the new direction the party was taking. However, Dick Cheney did not. He openly disagreed with many of President Trump's ideas and actions. Cheney strongly believed that President Trump was hurting important parts of the country. He thought Trump was making many institutions weaker. These are vital systems that help the country work well, like the government, the justice system, and how elections are held. For example, Cheney worried about President Trump's comments regarding NATO. NATO is a group of countries working together for safety. Cheney also strongly disapproved that President Trump refused to accept the results of the 2020 presidential election. Cheney felt these actions were dangerous for the United States. He believed they went against the country's basic rules and important values. Many people within the Republican Party changed their minds about Donald Trump. At first, some members did not support him, but over time they joined his side. They accepted his plans for the party. They stopped criticizing him publicly, but Dick Cheney remained firm in his own beliefs. He continued to speak out against President Trump's choices and statements. He did not change his mind or fall into line like many others. He stood by his strong opinions. Cheney clearly saw that the Republican Party was changing a lot under President Trump's leadership. He felt the party was moving far away from its traditional ideas. He believed this new direction was not good for the country or for the future of the Republican Party itself. He became one of only a few important Republicans who continued to speak against Trump. He thought it was important to voice his disagreements. He wanted to help protect the country's democratic systems and values. His decision to openly criticize President Trump was very significant. It showed that even a lifelong Republican could disagree so strongly with the party's new leader. He stood up for what he believed was right for the entire country. This made him a powerful and respected voice among those who worried about the future. He was a rare and strong critic of the new Republican Party, which was shaped more by Donald Trump than by traditional Republican principles. 8. Family and final lesson. Dick Cheney's family also played a part in American politics. His eldest daughter, Liz Cheney, followed in his footsteps. She built her own political career and became a member of Congress, representing Wyoming. Like her father, Liz Cheney became a strong critic of President Donald Trump. She did not agree with many of his actions and policies, especially after the 2020 election. Her stand against Trump was well known, and she often spoke out against him. This showed a shared belief with her father in protecting American institutions and the Constitution. The Cheney family, through Liz, continued to be a significant voice in the Republican Party, even when it meant standing against the party's new direction and many of its members. Dick Cheney also showed a more personal side through his support for his younger daughter, Mary Cheney. Mary entered into a gay marriage. At the time, this was a topic of much public and political discussion across the country. Despite his conservative political background, Dick Cheney publicly supported his daughter's choice. This act highlighted his role as a father and his personal values regarding his family. It showed that even a powerful political figure could make decisions based on family love and acceptance. This support was important for his daughter and also for the broader discussion around family matters and personal rights. Dick Cheney lived a long and very important life, reaching the age of 84. He worked in politics for many decades, serving in different roles. He started as a congressional aide, became a congressman for 10 years, then served as Secretary of Defense, and finally as Vice President for 8 years. His career was marked by big decisions and moments that shaped history. He was known for his strong will, his sharp mind, and his powerful influence behind the scenes. Many people respected his political skills and his dedication to his country and its security. Others did not agree with his choices, especially his role in the invasion of Iraq and his defense of certain policies. He was a figure who caused strong opinions, both support and criticism, from people around the world. His impact on American and world history is clear and undeniable. He was a key figure in major events, from the First Gulf War to the response after the September 11th attacks and the War on Terror. His decisions helped shape the United States' role in the world for many years, especially in foreign policy and national security. The lasting lesson of his life is about the power of one person to influence national and global events deeply. He showed how a leader can make difficult choices that have long-term and widespread effects. His life story is a reminder of the complex nature of politics, leadership, and the heavy responsibilities that come with great power. He leaves behind a legacy that will be studied and discussed for a long time, showing a unique and powerful path in American history.